We are so excited to have you all here to participate in our national webinar on savings and investment, a way forward. Let me start the webinar with the successful quote of the day. Start from where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. See, it really suits well in the present pandemic situation of COVID-19 too. Well, I take this moment as my privilege to thank our Honorable Secretary, Thiru M. Chellaya, and President Thiru M. Meenakshi Sundaram, and Treasurer Thiru B.T. Chidambaram, and members of our college committee, Dr. Suresh, Thiru A.L.S. Shanmugam, Thiru D.R. Tirumulayappan sir, for giving me this opportunity to organize the webinar in my academic career. I am also indebted to my principal, Dr. A. Subramanian, IKSC coordinator, Dr. K. Balasubramanian, Associate Professor of Physics, and the convener and head of our own department, Mr. V.C. Shankar, for their constant support and motivation. With these few words, I invite our principal to give welcome address. Please, sir.
Good morning. Good morning to all the members.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. On behalf of our college management, myself, teaching and non-teaching staff and students of the MDT Hindu College, my hearty welcome to Dr. Subhatra Chellam, authorized resource person, Accelerating Minds, BSc IPF Mumbai. Presently, she is working as an assistant professor of commerce, Pioneer Kumarasamy College, KK district. Hearty welcome, madam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
This national seminar is jointly organized by the PG and the Research Department of Commerce under the leadership of Mr. V.C. Shankar and IQAC of the MDT Hindu College, Tirunelveli. Today's topic is savings and investment, a way forward. Hearty welcome to Dr. K. Balasubramanian, IQAC coordinator. In the lockdown situation, Mr. V.C. Shankar, convener and head, Dr. Viswa Sarojini Devi, organizing secretary of this national webinar, and assistant professor of commerce of the MDT Hindu College, Tirunelveli, has taken several steps to organize this national webinar on today, 19/7/2020. My sincere welcome to Mr. V.C. Shankar and Dr. Viswa Sarojini Devi. Hearty congratulations and welcome to organizing committee members, Dr. M. Chellaturai, Dr. N. Sangara Gomadi, Dr. S. Muthulakshmi, research scholars, and other faculty members of Department of Commerce of our college and PKC College, Kanyakumari district. Also, my best wishes and welcome to students and participants from our college and various institutions. My sincere welcome to all the staff members and students of our college who have directly or indirectly involved for the preparatory work of this national webinar. Once again, my sincere welcome to all the staff and the students of our college and PKC, and give your valuable suggestions regarding this national webinar after completion of the invited lecture to be delivered by Dr. Subhatra Chellam. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your welcome speech. Now I invite Mr. V.C. Shankar, the convener and head of our department, to utter a few words as special address. Please, sir.
Thank you, madam. A warm welcome to all the participants for this national webinar. In this COVID-19 situation, we observed that many persons were brought down in their economic status. They fell into poverty. This was the news which we came across in various newspapers as well as in media. The main reason behind this could have been that they lack savings. So let us put in a very simple equation. Savings is nothing but your income minus subtracted by your expenses in the home front. Especially there can be two types of expenses. You can do some personal expenses, and there can be some wiping out of your loans like EMIs. We call it as equated monthly installments. So what happens is you are unable to meet out the expenses with the available income. So that says that you are not having adequate savings. And first, how to inculcate the habit of savings. Many of us, we don't have the compulsory habit of savings. So there are international and national standards which says that around 10% of your income, you must go compulsorily for savings. So if you have savings, that is not enough, because the problem is, the money becomes idle. So you have to make the money work to get it multiplied so that you can use it in times of emergencies like what we have now in the pandemic situation. We have a lot of expenses to be taken care of. So that part we call it as investments, and you have to find out a smarter way of investment which multiplies. At the same time, it is not falling under risk. You don't lose your money also. So we have to take care of a striking balance between the multiplication of your money as well as preserving the money for your future use. So today's topic is of much relevance to the investment and savings arena, the topic itself per se. It can throw a lot of light to the novice persons who are just going to enter into the investment space or saving space, or already you are there having money at your disposal and you are finding out some good ways to invest your money. So this topic is of relevance in the current scenario, and I extend my best wishes to the resource person, Dr. Subhatra, who has been contacting our department since the last week for conducting such a very pragmatic topic for the current scenario. And I also take this chance to congratulate our organizing secretary, Dr. Sarojini Devi, for organizing a topic which is more relevant to the current situation. So the participants can take tips from the inputs given by the resource person, and she is also in tie-up with the Mumbai Stock Exchange, which is one of the oldest in the world. So it has crossed nearly 200 years of existence in Mumbai. And they also have a school of imparting knowledge to the general public, wherein this Accelerating Minds, the institution through which Dr. Subhatra is in contact with us, has reached us. So I request all the participants to take a note of the inputs given by the resource persons and get benefited out of this program. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, unmute your mic and speak.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your special address. Let me now introduce the learned professor and the knowledge treasure, the resource person of our webinar, Dr. Subhatra Chelladurai. Dr. Subhatra Chelladurai is an authorized resource person of Value Idea Investment Services, Accelerating Minds, Mumbai. She is the founder president of Research, Skill Development and Women's Forum of By and For You Trust. She is working as an assistant professor of commerce in Pioneer Kumarasamy College. She is a NLP and soft skill trainer. She has recently received Women Achiever Award 2020 from Manomaniyam Sundarnar University, Tirunelveli. We are privileged to have you as a speaker for this session, ma'am. Thank you. Now, I hand over the session to Dr. Subhatra Chelladurai.
So thank you for your nice introduction, ma'am. And my greetings to the management and principal of the MDT Hindu College and the head of the Department of Commerce, organizing secretary, Dr. Sarojini ma'am, and all the staff members from the Department of Commerce. And my special greetings to Sheetal Shah ma'am and Swarupa ma'am of Accelerating Minds, Bombay Stock Exchange, Mumbai. Those have given this platform for me to address in this webinar. And a very warm good morning to all those who are attending this webinar. Though I address on behalf of Bombay Stock Exchange, I begin with the introduction about BSE. BSE does not only deals with companies, stocks, securities, and investment, but also protects and promotes the interest of the individual as a social responsibility. Thus, it associates with various colleges to conduct literacy and awareness programs, especially investment awareness programs and literacy on financial awareness. So this Bombay Stock Exchange, formerly known as BSE, is established in 1875. Though while addressing our head of the department, he mentioned that it is a very old stock exchange in our country. Is Asia's first and the fastest stock exchange in the world. And over the past 143 years, BSE has facilitated the growth of Indian corporate sector by providing it an efficient capital raising platform. It builds wealth with capital. You know what capital is and what capital markets are. This Bombay Stock Exchange does not only build the capital of its own, it's contribute to the overall nation. You know what capital market is? The market where buyers and sellers engage in the trade of financial securities like bonds, stocks, etc. The buying and selling is undertaken by participants such as individuals and institutions. So the selling and buying happens through by an individual and an institution. This capital market also enhances efficient financial intermediation. It increases mobilization of savings and therefore improves efficiency and volume of investments, economic growth and development, where savings turns to the investment. This savings and investment has a vital role in our GDP, gross domestic product. As you all know, the growth of economy is measured by the growth or increase in gross domestic product. The savings, investment, household income, and the spending of each individual matters in GDP. And we know what all the GDP includes. It's not only the investment, but also the import and export plays a major role, where we have to reduce the import and increase the export. And household savings, especially household spending and savings, has a major role in gross domestic products. If household savings continues to decline, it may pose a serious challenge to the GDP growth and macroeconomic stability. Household is especially the income of an individual is a microeconomic, and it has the effect over economic stability. You know how important saving is. Saving of an individual is very important. We save basically because we can't predict the future. Saving money can only help our give financial security and provide safety in case of an emergency. In case of any urgency, the savings supports us. And suppose if the household savings continues to decline, it poses a serious challenge to the GDP growth and macroeconomic stability. India's overall saving rate has declined to 30% from 34%. So after looking at all such database and article-based informations, we'll be thinking about further what we have to do. And that is the reason we have selected a topic, savings and investment. We are not just going to look about savings and investment. We'll see how we can take it forward. So this 34% over past 5 years, ending financial year 2016-17, we can see the worst dip was seen in the household sectors. Household savings is the largest contributor to savings in the economy. Each and every household has a role in the economy. Each and every household saving is the largest contributor in the economy. As we all talk about savings and investment, the savings we do only when we have surplus. It is excess of our spending. We get earnings in the form of income and we spend money, and the surplus money we save it. And only when we save, when we have the habit of managing money, this invest and savings the topmost priority, like it is in the option where we have after paying all our debts, after managing with money, spending all our expenses, which is a need and based, and HOD also, he also mentioned that in foreign countries, they allot 10% of their income for savings, then they deploy the remaining 90% for expenses. And most often the financial advisors, they say, you must take 20% as a saving out of your income. If suppose 1,000 rupees your income, every day, per day income or monthly income is 10,000, 20% should be taken as a saving, and the remaining 80% should be deployed in your needs and wants. Yeah, we can focus on that. So this money management is that. Saving some money, then spending the remaining is the money management. And you may have a thinking now, she's talking about savings and all, and without earnings, you said the earnings, then spending, the remaining surplus, you're going to save it. When there is no, while I was addressing yesterday, a smart girl asked me a question. She asked, in the lockdown period, not only in the lockdown time, people in the country, general public, they don't have much earning, and you're talking about savings and investments. I couldn't give answer immediately because the problem we face is the same. Everybody has money problem. The earnings and the income is the greatest question every people have. Then how can we deploy money in saving? How can we think about investments? We say investment has a role in GDP growth. We can contribute to the economy, but when the common people do not have earning income, then how can they think about other such things like investing and contribute to the growth for country's economy? So in order to think about our income, in order to think about take a way forward to savings and investment, we must start with the thinking of this income generation. How can we generate income? How can we earn money? So how we are earning, how the people working now, they are earning money. Is that possible for people to earn money? Yes. We are engaged into a job, we are working in a company, we are working in institutions, and we get salary as an employee of the organizations. We are getting salary. Either in a private or public sector, we are engaged and we are getting salary. That's earned income, we say. Any other sources of incomes are there? Can we have a chat box reply? The other sources of income? Income under the various heads, can you say? You can answer in the chat box. Students, those who are using a Zoom platform, you can look at into the bottom of the Zoom platform, right corner, 3 dots are there. If you press 3 dots, you'll find a chat box, and there you can type the different types of income. What possible sources of income? I've given here 3: employee as an income as an employee, income as an employer, and income as a professional. What sort of income the professional gets? Who is a professional? Who are professionals? A teacher is a professional. Teacher is a profession. The advocates, engineers, doctors, they're all professionals. Lawyer, yes, very good. I expect more from you participants. If the students participants interact with me, it will be well and good. The CA, chartered accountants, are professionals. Actually, the intention behind initiative taken by BSc is to inculcate the habit of savings among students, especially. if you start focusing on students and youth population with this intention, when they have a thinking over saving, they'll think about earning. And when these people are employed and earnable person, the country's problem will be solved. And that's the reason BSE has taken this initiative. RBI has a role in it. The government of India has a role in it. So this session, what we are conducting is focused to student participant and each and every stakeholders who are having responsibility towards the nation. In that case, I expect students participants and the teachers participants and the corporate people, those who are engaged in attending this webinar, you can interact with me with a few your answers in the way of chat box typing. And if you raise your hands, I can unmute yourself so that we can have conversation. Not typically one person is presenting and others are listening to that. So it can't be, it need not be like that. We can have interactive sessions too. Auditor is a professional. And employer, one such other thing is their employer. To become an employer, provide job to the employees so that you can create more job opportunities. One such options are there. But whether people are, whether all our youth are capable of doing that or doing that. So what the problem we are facing is yearning problem, and yearning problem occurs mainly because of students will see. I'm asking a question. We are all engaged in education, learning, teaching, learning process. We are teaching and students are learning from us. And education is mean for, again a question. Education is mean for Kalvi edarku is mean for what? It's knowledge. To acquire subject knowledge. Yes. And this knowledge, to gather more knowledge. And this knowledge, what is going to give is to seek employment, to enter into a job. Why students study and why we all study? To gather knowledge is one option. And other one, to improve our standard of living and to enter into a job and to become an employable person. So this, with this focus, we all engaged in this learning process. But now the question is whether all those who are involved in learning process, whether they are all able to earn money or get into an employment, either as an employee or as an employer. These two concepts we are going to look upon. Either he has to, in order to earn money, either he has to work under somebody, those who are owning their business or institution. We have to work under an organization or institution or a unit, or we have to, or he or she has to emerge as an employer to provide employment. So these are the two major areas where the students engaged now and those finish their education and seeking their employment should focus on. And here is the trouble, and here is the major crisis we are facing is unemployment crisis. It exists. We are going to throw some lights over the scenario where we see more number of people are unemployed. Recently in Tamil Nadu Public Service Commission, this is a data I have taken, is published in 2019, April 2019. The Tamil Nadu Public Service Commission received more than 20 lakhs applications when it is called for 9,351 vacancies in Group 4 category in the year 2018. This means that 213 applicants were competing for each vacancy. For each and every vacancy which was available, 213 applicants are competing, which sheds light on the disparate status of unemployment in the state. It is not only the scenario of Tamil Nadu state, but it is overall the situation is that. What's more, 84 lakh people are registered in the employment exchange. They have registered. The number of registration has been coming down the recent years because the decreasing possibility of job appointments through government agency. Government could not provide job to most number of people. Government cannot engage in organized sector. All the government cannot provide job to all. So those who are in need of work and if they are not able to join the work, the situation is called as unemployment. That is, unemployment is regularly used term. So normally out of work. In the strict economic terms, you can say the unemployment includes all those who are able and willing to work but cannot find a work. So these situations, we call it as unemployment. And this especially persists in urban area than rural area. Even though the state is known as migration to urban cities, around 50% of the adolescents, especially the youth populations live in the rural areas as per 2011 census. Most number of urban populations are unemployed. Among the overall employment scenario, this unemployed populations are more from the urban areas. This is now the situation of outcome of the higher education. More number of people already waiting in the list, and again, people, this higher schools and higher education institutions brings out lot of literate and graduate populations out, and they again comes into the join the line as unemployed, seeking for job. So as per this 2011 census, you can see the more number of unemployed populations, unemployed people comes under the category of literate population. The literate populations are the educated people are unemployed. The census says, even if you compare the census of 2000, after 10 years in 2021, there will be a census. And if you see the rate, again, you can see the unemployed, learned unemployed and the unlearned or literate or illiterate populations, the employment scenario would be more number of people will be literate unemployed. That means educated, but they are not able to join in a job because of various such reasons, we can say. Not a single reason we can blame. Even the COVID situation has now made unemployment crisis. People are not working and not earning, could not earn. It's because of total lockdown of companies and organizations, even the education institutions. Those are working in the private sectors. Every company is now locked down. And that is the situations we are facing now. And whether we can correlate these situations with the savings. Yes, there is a strong correlation between the savings and unemployment. That's what I said in the beginning. If there is no employment, there is no earnings, we cannot think about savings. And India has more than 50% of its population below the age of 25 and more than 65% below the age of 35, the youngest country in the world. And these population, especially the youngest population, should focus on earning, to throw a stone forward to savings and investments. So in order to focus or think on savings and investment, he or she must be employed somewhere. Or either he must be capable of starting his own venture and give opportunity to many such people. Even the illiterate unemployment also they can provide them with a job. They can provide them with earning opportunity. So in order to focus on the first one called employee, he or she must be competent enough. He or she must be competent enough to enter into both the sectors. To start either to enter into a company or to start his own venture. He or she must be more competent enough. And thinking only about the employee scenario, as a working person, engage himself in a company or an organization, he has two options. One, he can be employed in the government sector, or he can work in the private sector. And in order to enter into a government sector, which we call as organized sector, you know what organized sectors are? The sector with fixed and regular terms of employment is organized. Example, we can say government employees, registered industrial workers, the Anganwadi, village health workers, government education institutions, mining workers. They all comes under organized sectors. Whereas unorganized sector is a small, is characterized by small and scattered units, which are largely outside the control of government. Government cannot control the overall organization structure. The private sector, especially, which includes scavengers and carriers of headloads, drivers and loaders and unloaders. These people, even the street vendors, they comes under unorganized sectors. And to engage either in the organized or unorganized sector, one must need a skill. That is the greatest challenge we face, I say. The skill is the greatest challenge or greatest next crisis or the cause for unemployment. Lacking skills. So what such skills which is essential for a job seeker, whether to enter into a government job or to enter into a private company, he or she must have a. Am I audible to everyone? Sarojini ma'am? He or she must be employed. And to get employment, he or she must possess some skills. Here I mentioned field. The physical test is for Army, Navy, SI, and other kind of people. Those who are entering into services, armed services, or SI constables in government sectors. Our central government has several opportunities. And for that, physical test is required, not only the physical test. They start with the written examination, there will be an entrance and there will be an interview before appointment. Take it as an example, you can take IBBS examination, SBI, or all such bank examinations, and SSC, Staff Selection Commission. Everywhere there is a written test. So in order to write this written test, one must have several skills. One must have several aptitude skills. So we'll discuss about it. What are the aptitude skills required for students? Anyone can answer in the chat box. What are the skills required for aspirant to attend the exam written test? What possible questions are asked? One thing I said, aptitude. The other one you can start with analytical test. Yes, then logical test, logical reasoning, we call it as logical reasoning. Then yes, reasoning. General knowledge, yes, it is a part of every examination. There is a slot or allocation of a percentage where these current affairs, blood relations is a part of reasoning, and general knowledge, general awareness, current affairs, economic awareness is a part of every examinations. Then computer aptitude is also part of many such tests. So these knowledge is much important for students. Data interpretation, these are things we are discussing about. Data interpretation, statistic, reasoning, and technical skills for writing and for applying for competitive examination. Recently, we heard news that a very few number of students for clerical examination, very few number of students are passed from Tamil Nadu, and very few number of students are passed from south side. And people started blaming that in north, many number of people are getting passed and getting into government services. The reason behind that is number of applicants also less in number. Students are not aware about applications. They are lacking in technical skills. They must know how to open, how to identify when is the examination. He must know when is the examination, how to apply it, how to upload a passport size photo, and how to upload download the hall ticket. And notifications will be sent through email. You can even enter your email. You can connect your email ID with some of the job notifications and some of the government examination notifications. There are several websites. See, our youngsters are not, we cannot say that they are lacking in technical skills. We should not say that. They know the technical skills. They are having access to it. Every day they are using it. But what is lacking is the proper access of technology is lacking. They must have the proper access of technology. Proper usage of the Google, the several options are there even under Google Drive, Google system. It has several options, the form generating, even we can type easily using a Word document. He can type easily in any language using the Google Word. Document is there. It types automatically. If you talk in Tamil, it starts typing. There is no restrictions or no limitations for a interested and very aspiring candidate. There is no restrictions in it. You have several options and opportunities that you have to identify, and you have to engage yourself in a proper way. Utilize your time in a proper way. Go and keep on browsing. We have a guru, virtual guru. Can you tell me virtual guru is a virtual guru we have? We are all traditional guru. You can see us, you can talk to us, you can interact with us. We teachers are traditional gurus. Or you can see and you can talk to us. There is a guru, and you can interact with that virtual guru also, I think. Who is a virtual guru? The platforms like Google, Yahoo, the search engines, which provides lot of information to you. It has answer for everything. It has answer for everything. It has answer for your search. You'll get answer only when you search or browse. And you must know to access this platform in an efficient way or in a useful way. Proper usage of the technology will provide you lot skills. This one such skill is very much necessary for every person. Technical skills, access to technology. Even the buying and selling, e-commerce is done through technology. Your banking, you can do it through technology, payment options, receiving money and checking the status. Everything is possible with technology. And there are several barriers in it. Barriers are there everywhere. But we should not only focus on barriers often. And whatever we are discussing, and whatever we are going to discuss in the forthcoming slides is also the barriers actually. It is all negative things we are talking about. Discussing about several years we are talking about this: unemployment, poverty, lacking of skill among the youth population. How can we focus lights on it? How can we overcome the situations? We are talking about it. So who is going to change it, or who is going to contribute it? And how can we change the situation? That's what taking it to forward. Even the next generation should not also talk about the same thing. A decade here, even after 10 to 20 years, young populations are the people those who are going to contribute much in the economic development all. So there are options for people, especially the youth population, to learn on their own. Various such platforms, applications and softwares are available. Government has recently started with online education platforms. MOOCs platform is there. And the SWAYAM portal is there, where you can start your learning at free of cost. You need not pay any fee. Enroll yourself, log into the ID in the several websites available for online learning. You can log simply. You have to log into it. They'll start with a course, and every time there will be a video session or some PDF format content will be there. Assessment will be there. And after assessment, they will conduct a test. And for the examination, you'll have to pay the fee, it seems. Under SWAYAM portal, for examinations, you'll have to pay the fee. So this one such greatest opportunity we all have. Learning through online, utilizing the technology in a proper way to impart our skills. And what else? The other option given to an job aspirant is to start with his own venture, to emerge as an entrepreneur. This is actually very good compared to the previous one as an employee, as an employer. You know, as an entrepreneur, we say owner or entrepreneur. A person who sets up a business or businesses taking financial risk in the hope of profit is an entrepreneur. And he must possess some skills. It's not that easy to emerge as an entrepreneur, to start his own venture, because the definition itself says taking a financial risk in the hope of profit. லாபம் கிடைக்கும் என எதிர்பார்த்து பணத்தை முடக்கி ஒரு பிசினஸ் ஆரம்பிக்கிறது தான் entrepreneurோட வேலை. So if he engage in this kind of work, he must be very skillful, talented, we say talented. So what possible skills are required for entrepreneur? Again, we'll discuss about it. ஒரு தொழில் முனைவோருக்கு என்னென்ன திறமைகள் எல்லாம் இருக்கணும், என்ன திறன்கள் எல்லாம் இருக்கணும்? Who tackles finance, labor and environment? Yes, Nambirajan sir. Then innovative skills. He must be innovative, then only he can start with his business. He must know to identify the resources available. See, our country is mean for resources, no doubt in it. Plenty of resources, agriculture basis, lands are rich, where you can cultivate and we can manufacture the agricultural products. You can work with the agricultural products and you can find the opportunity of exporting the agricultural products to the other countries. So in order to engage in this all kind of businesses, to emerge as an entrepreneur, he must be very skillful. He must have a leadership quality, innovative skills to start a venture, decision-making power. And when we talk about the leadership, David McClelland's theory of motivations, it says talk about achievement motivation. It's for entrepreneurs. Achievement motivation as a needed skill for an entrepreneur. He works towards achievement and democratic kind of leadership necessary for entrepreneurs to make each and every employee in a participatory way where the output is high. The result reveals that. The Kakinada experiment, you might have heard about it. When we involve people much in a participatory way, in decision making, in discussions, everything, it gives the output. The production is increase in nature. So what sort of skills and entrepreneurs is needed? In addition to the basic skills, an entrepreneur must know to identify the demand of the product, and he must have the ability to understand the market and ability to plan and implement whatever is right. So he must possess various other skills, which is very much needed for an entrepreneur. And these skills should be imparted to the students. We must teach the students how to start with the business project. The project planning is very essential. These are the things we are talking about. And communication skill is very, very, very much needed. It is not only about language. Communication is not only about language. It is the way you can express your thoughts and belief, and you can make the center understand what you wanted to convey actually. If you are able to do that, your communication is good. Understand the other person and convey your message in such a way the other person can understand you. Is a communication, successful communication. It should be received by the recipient. So these kind of skills are required for an entrepreneur, and along with that, he must know what are the schemes available for him. He or she, or whoever it is, women entrepreneur or male entrepreneur, he or she must know the schemes available. There are several schemes are available for them. This incubation center program is Ratal Incubation Center, the NeoGen IEDC Innovative Entrepreneurship Scheme, and MSME has the Market Development Assistance, Women Entrepreneurs WEP platform, self-employment learning schemes for microfinancing scheme. These topic alone can be taken as a separate session for the students. The schemes available for them and the way to prepare the project. Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana is there. With the least amount, they can start with their own business and venture. Raw material assistance schemes, credit linked capital subsidy for technology upgradation, and incentive package scheme. Then multiplier credit guarantee schemes. It is for IT research and development, infrastructure development. There is a scheme. So these must be identified by the students or the job or the entrepreneur, those who wanted to emerge as an entrepreneur. It is not only for the emerging entrepreneur, those who are ongoing entrepreneurs should also know this schemes, because they provide subsidy based loans, and even for machinery, buying a new machinery, government provides a loan with. Existing entrepreneur can approach for that. So some of the banks are there which provides entrepreneurs with loan, but with the proper platform only, you'll be able to get all this in order to prepare with the project and starting with your basic documents and making everything perfect. You can approach the bank. And I'll be telling you about the Unemployed Youth Generation Program, UIGP scheme by the government of Tamil Nadu. UIGP, it's for the government of India. It's for everyone. So the skill imparting will give them all this, imparting this knowledge and skill to the student, or skill to the aspirant or youth of the country, will certainly give opportunity for them to throw lights on to emerge as an employee or as an employer. A person who talks about education, substitution of skill development with education, you can read this sayings. In decades, India will need 300 to 500 million employable skilled youth. And there is a need to completely change the university education syllabus, someone said. Who said it? Who said this part? Why, it's not quotation, it's a saying of someone. He said 25% of the time has to be allotted to skill development program. Can you guess who he is? I said he is a male. He is no more. He said, in schools and education institution, one skill certificate and one education certificate must be provided. One skill and one education certificate should be provided. Who said it? You can type in the chat box. You can answer me. Our people's president, a great leader and scientist. Yes. Yes, very right, very right. This kind of interaction I expect from you. Not a one-sided conversation, not like. See, our people's president, a great leader and a scientist, had a great expectation from the education sector of India, education sector of our country. He was one of the leaders who talked about the importance of skill-based learning in schools and education institutions. He said students should have 2 certificates when they pass out of school, one of the +2 passing certificate and one of the specific skill acquired by them. One specific skill acquired by them certificate should be given to them when they complete their 12th standard. And when they enter into a degree or a diploma or any higher educations, they'll get a clarity over their career, which stream they are supposed to enter in. Even if they go for ITI, they'll select which venture, whether either he has to enter into a mechanical engineer, or he has to emerge as a computer software, or he can do with some other civil kind of engineering work, or he can engage himself as a CEO or the manager or the accountant or clerical level, some kind of work he engage in. These things he'll get the decision-making power when he has given or brought up with the skill education, skill development, focusing on specific skills. Now and then he can change it when he studies in 8th standard, 9th standard. When he comes to the 12th standard category, he'll get the proper decision over what exactly he's supposed to do. What is his career and where he is going to employ himself. We did not guide him. We did not often tell them that he do not know where he is supposed to engage himself. And simply ask, Madam, how can I tell him that where the job opportunities are there? Because he is a person who is capable of creating job opportunities. He is capable of entering into a company and create more, generate more income. He can contribute to the company's income. When the income or the turnover of the company increases, again, he'll deploy a few more person to employ in his company as an employee. They'll engage in. So he is going to contribute for employment opportunity. Opportunities will be more when one skilled and efficient person engage in a job. And this skill development is much important in India, is necessary for India. As India targets to becoming global economic powerhouse, it needs to equip its workforce with employable skills and knowledge to make India a developed economy. And it is one of the youngest nations in the world I addressed before. And in fact, in next 10 years, the labor force in the industrial world is expected to increase by 32% in India. However, statistics shows that only 2% or less than 4% of the overall employment seekers, less than 4%, even the ongoing employees or the job seekers, less than 4% have completed their skill development training, lacking in skill. So what we supposed to do, we have to throw light on skill development in order to minimize the unemployment or crisis, reduce the unemployment crisis, and to show lights on reduce the poverty, and again coming to contribute savings and investment in the form of economic growth. These all can be done only with skill development. Whether government has taken an initiative, whether education institutions have taken initiative, yes. Everyone, the government, central or state government has their own initiative towards the skill development. You might have heard about the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. Certificates programs are given to the students. Under the scheme, training and assessment fees are completely paid by the government. Short-term trainings and course provided for the students and those of waiting for the job aspirants. Soft skill training, entrepreneurship training, financial literacy and awareness program. These kind of trainings have been conducted so far, from started in 2016. and still in force. This is this still in active 2000 up to 20 it is active, then they may extend it. And this AICTE, All India Council for Technical Education, has a separate cell for skill development, SD cell. It deals with different skill development initiatives of AICTE. It has various schemes. One is the startup policy for technical education, and they have this PMKVY, that is Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, in association with UKRI, UK India Education and Research Initiative program is there. There they conduct several programs, leadership and faculty development, integration of skills and education system programs, and skill knowledge providers, SKP programs, and employability enhancement training programs, EETP programs, and innovative awards, they innovations awards. They encourage the budding young persons to emerge as an entrepreneur with new innovations. As a technical part, they have to create some, demonstrate some new innovative technology, and they'll be awarded with that. So these kind of the initiatives have been taken by AICTE, and UGC has recently announced and called for invited applications for skill-based courses for the academic year 2021. It is asked. And UGC will provide financial assistance to institutions, those who are planning for vocational programs. You have to submit the applications online, and the skill-based certificate program, diploma, advanced diploma, or Bachelor of Vocation, PG, and Master of Vocation programs. You can start in your venture. You can start in your institution. This is effective from 2020-21. So these such opportunities are there where you can start a skill development program in your institution. Substituting skill with knowledge is more important. And MSME has an option, I said, UIGP scheme, Unemployed Youth Generation Program. So when you prepare a project, it is not that whole amount will be, the project cost will be given by the government. Government has a percentage, divisions, distribution of allocation of fund. The promoter, that is the entrepreneur, should contribute 10% of, for the general category has to contribute 10%. And for the BC, SC, ST and women, ex-servicemen and physically challenged, they have to contribute 5%. That is, if 1 lakh is their project cost, they have to put 5%, that is 5,000 as their investment. 94% the bank will provide, and out of 95,000, 25% is a subsidy. That means that amount you need not pay, bank will, government will pay to the bank. So these options are available. And to avail this option, any individual above 18 years of age, and the upper age limit is 35, and for special categories 45 years, any individual can apply for this. And minimum standard education qualification is passing of 8th standard. And those who passed their 8th standard, completed 18 years of age, and residing in the place not less than 3 years, they must be a resident of that particular place. Only area bank will provide you with the loan. The lead bank, the interview process will be there. The scrutinizing process will be there. And your income should not exceed 5 lakh. If you have more than 5 lakh rupees income in your family, you will not be provided with the loan. If your income is less than 5 lakh rupees, you are eligible to apply for this loan. And the district task force committee, headed by general manager of district industry center, will conduct the interview. And they also provide and support with EDP training programs for 4 days. Some kind of 10 days, 15 days trainings. If they have already completed, they need not undergo for the EDP training. So these one option is there for people in our country, those who are seeking or wish to emerge as an entrepreneur. And they can apply online. There's a website ID I have given. They can visit on the MSME portal. Various such websites are there. Government portal, skill development portal is there. where the trainings are provided, where the opportunities are provided, various schemes are introduced by the government. Students must be aware, and the education institution must teach our students about all this program. This Udyam registration is a name for Udyog Aadhar, where if you wanted to start with a venture, where you wanted to commence your own business, you can register your own self without any cost through this website. Earlier it was called as Udyog Aadhar, and now it is Udyam Aadhar. This is a government website, Ministry of Micro, Small, Medium Enterprises. Only the Aadhar and PAN is necessary. It must be properly linked with your mobile number. If it has properly, you have to select your EM 1 and 2. That is whether you comes under service category or manufacturing sector, which are going to start. You have to fill all the essential details, and immediately you'll be allotted with the registration number. It's a government registration you get for enterprise to start with the enterprise at free of cost. And various other fake websites are there. You must know to identify the fake websites. And there are departments called Department of Employment and Training in every district. In Tamil Nadu is tnvelevaipu.gov.in. More number of it's a portal provides online registration, renewal and updation for job seekers. Online database 89 lakh job seekers for prospective employers, facilitates manpower planning and analysis through effective implementation of employment market information, promotes coordination between this manpower supply and the demand by rendering assistance for job seekers. They provide vocational counseling, vocational guidance, and training programs. So the youth must be focused, given more importance on thinking about developing their skill along with the knowledge. That's more important. So how can we contribute to transform our country is to focus on skill. Actually, I supposed to address on savings and investments. And to take it forward, one must have a earnings, income, spend less, concentrate on money management, then only he will have a savings. You know what saving is? It's a deferred expenditure. Unspent money is a saving. When you do not spend your money, when you save that will end up as a saving, reducing your expenses. That is going to be a saving. And to reduce the expenses, you must have earnings, and that is what we are talking about. And to get a earning, one should be employed. One must be employed, earning person, or a person who is generating income, capable of earning. And to be a capable person of earning, he must be a skilled person. So you should not think a technical skill is a skill, communication is a skill. When and wherever you go to attend an interview or to enter into a job, the first question asked to you is about introducing your own self. They'll say, "Ungala patti sollunga," appdi solla maatanga. If you attend an interview in Tamil Nadu in any of the company, or you go to Chennai, part of Tamil Nadu, or you go to Bangalore, the nearest city, or Kerala, wherever you go, they'll ask you to introduce yourself. You're supposed to introduce yourself in English. You ought to do that. So you must learn English, no any other way, because the situation is like that. The technical skill is needed, communication skill is needed, aptitude is very much necessary. Your attitude is also a part of your interview process. Nowadays, the employers, they conduct interview through by the way of group discussion. They'll make all the candidates who sit in a round. They'll divide them in a group, allot with some kind of topic. Sometimes they'll say you can decide your topic. They won't even allot any topics. They simply see the attitude or your presence of mind, your knowledge in current affairs. They'll see the way you communicate. Everything will be noticed in group discussion. So these skills are very much needed for a job seeker. And to start with the venture, he must be very competent enough. We must be very good leader to lead the company, HR, appointment, right from the appointment, right, even the accountancy work, auditing work, he must be aware of everything. So in what way we can contribute to this youth to contribute to the transformation of India? How can this youth population be employed? How can they be skillful? How can we train them? And who has a role in it? Who can contribute in it? Is a thing we need to think about it now. Is a question. So I'll answer your question, Selva Ganesh sir. At the end of the session, I'll ask your question. I'll answer your question. So who can contribute to this youth population to make them employable citizen? You can answer it, Selva Ganesh sir. Who can contribute to make them a skillful person, make everyone a skillful person? Because everyone has to earn so that we can contribute to the household income of our household savings of our country. The household saving has a role in country's economy, GDP growth. We spoke about it. And what we can do and who can contribute is a question. Who can contribute? I say, yes, family members, teachers. Somebody said family members, teachers. I say stakeholders. In one single terms, I call them as stakeholders. Each and every one, the counselors, teachers, obviously, the government by introducing very good new schemes. Then who else? The stakeholders. I say the stakeholders are students and job seekers too. The bank, corporate professionals, teachers, trainers, including parents, and several private and government agencies, not excluding the students and job seekers. They are the stakeholders actually. Without their support, without their involvement, without their cooperations, we cannot do anything. We can't impart skill in them. So they must be very corporate and very enthusiastic towards acquiring skills. So that I call each and every one as a stakeholders, including the students and job seekers, the employees, educationists, the academicians, the teachers. So various other things I saw, the schemes are there. Who is going to tell them what kind of schemes are there? And in order to be an eligible person for the scheme, what you supposed to do, and what are the basic documents required to apply for the loan, how to prepare a project report. These kind of training must be given to the prospects. You must identify the prospects. That you have to identify, and the students have the capability. So other base panni, whether he has to enter into a company as an employee, or he has to start with his own venture where he can be a earning or earnable person. This must be think about every individual, every stakeholders, I say. Here again, I come to the person who is shown Vision 2020. Kalam's vision is to make India a developed country. And he made the youth to dream about the better India. Because not only with the statistics, but with the experience and with the present scenario, we can say these youth are the stakeholders, greatest contributors of economy. If these persons are unemployed and the lacking in skill, the country's growth is going to be a questionable one. So with this thinking as a takeover, takeaway of this webinar. I wanted to, it's already 12:07, it is the time. We were thinking about some failures. Lacking of skill is a failure, unemployment is failure. Then the decline of household saving is a failure, is all negative point we are talking about. And why we are talking about all this point is to generate some ideas over how to succeed, how to get success over it, how to convert this into a positive. How can we convert all these negative things which are facing since last several years? We are facing this issue. Country is still developing country, it's not developed country, it's not a developed nation. And what can make the country develop is making each individual a social responsible and yearning person, contribute to savings and investments. We can make this country developed country. And with the sayings of Bharadiyar, Mahakavi Bharadiyar, எண்ணிய முடிதல் வேண்டும், நல்லவே எண்ணல் வேண்டும், திண்ணிய நெஞ்சம் வேண்டும், தெளிந்த நல்லறிவு வேண்டும். நீங்க நம்ம என்ன சொல்லி கொடுத்தாலும் அந்த ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் தெரியும் மேம் எனக்கு தெரியும் மேம், they'll say easily. As I wanted to stress upon தெளிந்த நல்லறிவு. We won't say people are just kind of அறிவே கிடையாது அப்படியெல்லாம் சொல்ல முடியாது. They are lacking in awareness. The self-awareness is very important. They must be given awareness about various other things, the opportunities, the options to apply, how can they prepare, how can they pass, and how can they enter into a service. These kind of things must be taught to them. And then only they will get the தெளிந்த நல்லறிவு. And to whom this தெளிந்த நல்லறிவு is essential. யாருக்கு இந்த தெளிந்த நல்லறிவு வேணும் அப்படின்னா, not only for them, to each and every one of us, this தெளிந்த நல்லறிவு is essential. நம் ஒவ்வொருவருக்கும் சிறந்த வெற்றிகரமான வாழ்வுக்கு வழிகாட்டும். நம்முடைய வெற்றி, நம் மாணவர் வெற்றி, அவருடைய வளர்ச்சி, நம் நாட்டின் வளர்ச்சி. நம் நாட்டின் வளர்ச்சி, நம் நாட்டுடைய பொருளாதார வளர்ச்சிக்கு is a base is individual growth and individual responsibility. And we, the stakeholders, together can work for ourselves, imparting knowledge with skill to lead and contribute for the growth of our country's economy, showing a way forward to savings and investment. With this, I thank the management of the MDT Hindu College, principal, head of the Department of Commerce, and the organizing secretary, Dr. Sarojini ma'am, and all the staff members from the department. And my special thanks to all the participants, those who are listening to me patiently for past 45 minutes to 50 minutes, you are listening to me. And I thank for your interactions in the chat box. And my special thanks to Accelerating Minds Bombay Stock Exchange, who have provided this platform for me to act as a resource person to address on this topic. And I welcome your feedback and questions if any. Thank you, one and all.